Hi everyone, welcome to the Shooting Lone Star with Ram from the Austin Gooners. Hi bro, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Another good week. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good as well. Really good weekend for us. We spoke last week about it being a big weekend coming up. On paper, we had the easiest game, Watford away. Our rivals had hard matches, and we were expecting them to drop some points, and that's exactly how it turned out. So yeah, let's start with our game. Good game, 3-2 against Watford. The scoreline makes it seem closer than it was. It felt quite comfortable throughout. We scored three really good goals, and I thought we did play well. Defensively, we did concede a couple of goals, but their first goal was an amazing goal. And, that's hard to defend against. But yeah, good performance from the team, and we got the vital 3 points. Your thoughts on the game?
Um, you know, I think the beginning of the game, Watford was able to get a goal that was eventually called offsides. And you know, I actually didn't have that feeling in my gut, like, oh, here we go again, or we're about to mess up. Like, I think immediately afterwards, just watching our guys play, like, we look good, man. I mean, our offense, when we have the ball, looks very fluid. It looks like everybody's starting to get real comfortable. Odegaard and Saka have this connection that they're starting to build that is just incredible and exciting to see, man. So yeah, I didn't, you know, again, they scored first, and then it was turned away by offsides. But we were dominant for most of the game, and yeah, they scored a couple of goals. Both of them I thought were incredible. The first one, the bicycle kick, was, that's replay worthy. I think that gets discussed as like one of the best goals of the season, I think, overall. Um, but we had three class goals ourselves. And then we gave one up at the end to kind of make it a little bit more, uh, I guess, stressful than it needed to be. But I think overall, I don't feel bad about maybe the game being close at the end. Like, I think we look so good um, on offense and attacking that, just is what it is with those two goals. I mean, Watford themselves they're fighting for, to get out of the drop zone, and I mean they're actually really close. I mean, if you look at the bottom of the table, there's like six teams, fighting to get out of those three spots, and Watford is certainly one of those teams that is playing everybody hard. Um, so I was surprised that they were kind of like, going shot for shot with us early on, but I think ultimately we pulled away and our class showed, and we're looking good. So I think we have a lot of good things to take away versus like bad things. I think the goals that we gave up, certainly, the coaches are going to look at them like, all right, like, here's how we need to fix it. But I don't think it's due to anything that's like been a problem for us throughout the year. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just more like, I mean, that's just football. That's what happens when you don't like respect your opponent maybe a little bit. Maybe that's probably what happened, but ultimately, we were just firing it off, and everybody, contributed to all the goals. They were all good team goals, and then they were all just absolute bangers. Like, what do you think? Like, I mean, it was just fun to watch. Like, I wasn't even tripping about the fact that we gave up two goals.
Yeah, no, as you said, offensively, really nice to watch. Good flowing football, good interplay. It was just each goal you would say was amazing. And it's hard to pick which was my favorite goal of the three. Which was your one?
And as you were talking and as I was talking, I started like the highlights, and I'm rewatching them again. I guess, man, I'm gonna have to pick that the Saka to Odegaard goal, just because I don't know, like, I think just again the partnership between them two is just something incredible. Like, to watch the quick heel that he gave to Saka, and then Saka just drove down the side and then just kind of, found Odegaard open, and he just one touch knocked it into the back of the net, was just incredible. But then, like, the Saka goal as well was just sick as well. And Lacazette had two assists, and both of those assists were just incredible. Like, again, he's doing everything but scoring goals, and so he really had a nice game. Versus like maybe in the Wolves game, you can say like, man, that guy was just having trouble. Like, he was just someone else today, that this past match, and um, you know what? I'm still watching the highlights, and the goal that Saka ended up scoring, um, he bullied that other guy. He bodied the defender and took the ball back. Like, he lost possession and then kind of bullied the other guy and got the ball back and scored. And that was something that really stood out, because I remember watching Saka like in the past year and a half or whatever, and thinking like, this guy's great. Like, this guy's so good. He's fast. He's confident on the ball, but he's just a kid out there. Like, and he's getting bullied. He would get bullied by anybody, really, like, right? Like grown men. I mean, he's barely 18, 19 years old. And I would always remark, like, oh, he just needs to do some push-ups. He just needs to go in the weight room. He just needs to fill out, and he's going to be unstoppable. And I think, this is one of those games where he saw like him just taking control and bullying that defender for Watford, and then scoring the goal on his own. Like, gosh, that was incredible. So many. It's so hard to pick between the three of them, but I'm going to have to pick the first one with Odegaard. Stick to my guns. Like, just good team, just good flow, and just good, like, boom boom chemistry between those two. Like, what would you pick your top goal to be?
I was going for Saka's goal. The team play, the build up, the goal, all three goals were really nice with the team play. As you said, Lacazette played a big part in two of them with his assist. Yeah, just the flowing football and that finish from Saka, like, it was a bullet finish. No keeper saved that.
Yeah, that finish and the back heel from Lacazette. Ooh, that's sweet, man. I'm watching it right now. I'm sorry.
Three amazing goals. Great team performance and many stand-up performances. So it's hard to pick a man of a match. That's what I'm going to ask you next. Who was your man of the match?
I mean, it would have to be, I think, Alexander Lacazette. I think, yeah, he didn't score any goals, but I just thought he played his role well. And those two assists were just, beautiful touches. And he was just part of. I mean, he was just in the midst of all three of the goals as well. But I also do want to maybe, I don't know, it's hard. Yeah, like Lacazette had the two assists, right? He gets the numbers on the board, but Odegaard is, like, he just looked so comfortable out there with him and Saka. And then I'm championing him every chance I get. But Thomas Partey, man, like, that guy is Partey, excuse me, Thomas Partey. Like, he's just out there doing all the little things, making that extra pass or being solid defensively. And yeah, I guess if I had to pick one, though, it would have to be Lacazette. How about you?
I think Odegaard. I think just, the way he's playing, his work rate as well is really amazing to see how he's now really putting a big shift in as well. We weren't too sure about him, last season when he was on loan. And there was question marks over him. Real Madrid weren't too sure about him. That's why they let him go. But he's really proven himself now. We knew he was good with the ball. That was always one of his main attributes. That he's really good at passing it. But the fact he's putting that work rate in now as well, you can see that he's really working hard. A lot of people have been comparing him to Ozil, saying that you remind him of Ozil. But the big difference between him and Ozil is that he really works hard, unlike Ozil, where we know Ozil could be quite lazy, didn't really help out defensively. But Odegaard's not like that. He's all over the place. He's helping us defensively, pressing the ball. And then when he's got the ball, it's just a thing of beauty. The passes he makes, he's always looking to create something. And he's scoring goals as well. So, he's got that to his game as well now. So I think he's going to be a great player for us going forward. He's already a great player now, but he's going to get better and better. I mean, like you say, the way he's linking up with Saka, it's really good to see. And they're going to get better as, by understanding the more you play together, him, Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Lacazette as well. You see the link-up play. It's looking good. Obviously, we want Lacazette to start scoring some goals, but if he keeps playing like this and getting the assists and the others around him keep scoring and we keep winning games, it's all good. But yeah.
Right, yeah.
I mean, but it would help if Lacazette would start scoring some goals. I think it's around the corner for him. I think he just needs to get that goal, and then hopefully the floodgates will open and he will go on a run of scoring in a few games in a row, So yeah, it's looking really good for us. Really happy. Arteta as well. Got to say, he got the tactics spot, and he also had that pre-assist you could give him for the third goal, getting the ball quickly to Saka for the throw-in. So yeah, he had a good game as well, the tactics. And I
Yeah,
think we're starting to see that the work he's been putting in the training ground, behind the scenes, getting the players in that he wanted. And we can see that we were talking about it last time. You were saying you can see with our team that we seem cohesive as a unit, and when you look at some other teams, we were talking about Man United last time, seeing like a bunch of individuals more than a team. But you can see with us, we really seem like a team, the spirit's there, we're working for each other, working for the manager. So now
yeah,
let's have a little look at what happened with our competitors. So as we were saying, we knew they had some hard matches this weekend. And we'll start with West Ham's game against Liverpool. So going away to Anfield is always difficult. And I was watching that game, and I've got to give it to West Ham. They played very well. I would say
yeah.
Liverpool were really lucky. And, West Ham deserved something from that game. There's some really good chances. They just couldn't get the ball in the net. Did you see the game?
I missed that game, but I did see the goal from Mane and nice goal. But yeah, Liverpool ultimately, like, their quality just probably shined through. Like I said, I didn't watch the game, but I did see some highlights. And West Ham, they're not going to be any kind of pushover team. They're they're a very blue collar squad. To say, like, yeah, they don't have the big shiny players, but Mikel Antonio is probably what I would say would probably be their one world class player. Um, and they also have, what's his name? Who's that guy? Is that Declan Rice? But he was injured this past game. But yeah, I didn't get to catch that game, but the result turned out to be good. Like, I'll take a Liverpool win if it means they're beating West Ham and they kind of fall back a little bit on the table. So that was good. That was a good result, but I missed that one.
Yeah, then after our game on Sunday, 1 Man City. Did you see that one?
I missed the first 20 minutes, and then I caught the Jadon Sancho goal. And I will say this: Jadon Sancho is individually one of my favorite, like, up and coming players. Like, I watched him when he was at Borussia Dortmund, um, and he's finally starting to get some playing time there at United, and he's the one shining star I think that they have. But he had a nice goal to, like, equalize it early on, 1-1, and then Kevin De Bruyne owned the first half. It was 2-1. It was still close. They were like, all right, like, we'll see what happens. And then the second half, I think just Manchester City again. Same thing with, like, Liverpool. Is just their quality just takes over games, man. And Riyad Mahrez scored two just absolutely great goals, man. And he just took over in the second half. So it was good to see. Again, it's always one of these things where, like, I'm watching the game with my buddy, and I'm like, oh, I hate this Man City team. He goes, but then I was like, this is what we're actually striving to be. Like, this is the kind of style that we're going to end up playing. And once we have, once our guys start filling out and becoming, what we hope they're going to be, like, this is sort of the blueprint. This is what we want to see. It's also kind of exciting to see, like, what's hopefully in our future, because that Man City team, man, even when they're playing bad, like they just keep coming at you, and they're machines. And I think United just slowly, you can even see it in the players' faces and the way they play. Like, they just started losing hope. And then those two goals at the end, 4-1, it ends up not being close at all. I think maybe it was one of those, like, that was a 4-1 match that was maybe a lot closer than it looked like, until, like, boom, it just wasn't anymore. Kind of like when we played Liverpool earlier in the season, how we played them hard for, like, the first 60 minutes of the game, and then it's just one goal after another. Before you know it, the avalanche happens, and you get sent home with the tail between your legs. So that's exactly what it looked like. United's in a bad spot, man. So good for us. But I don't think being a United fan, you have a lot of hope going into the next few weeks. So we'll see. But what did you? Yeah, that's my take on the game.
Yeah, they seem to be in a bit of turmoil. They're not in a good place. With the players they have, they should be in a lot better than they are. And, their fans must be very disappointed with how their season's going so far. And, looking at the top four situation, 1 point ahead of them, 3 games in hand. I'm very confident we can finish above them. And West Ham as well, as I said, losing to Liverpool now, that's opened up a big gap for us there with that 3 points ahead of them with 3 games in hand. Tottenham, however, did win on Monday night against Everton. They won quite comfortably 5-0. Everton were disappointing. And, Tottenham is one of these teams, they seem to be very inconsistent, hot and cold. We saw how good they played against Man City, beating them at the Etihad. And then, they lost after that to Burnley. They went and beat Leeds and they lost in the FA Cup to Middlesbrough. And then now they've gone and beat Everton. So the situation we're in now is in our hands. One thing is, though, the 3 games in hand we have are all very difficult games. So we know it's Liverpool at home, Chelsea away, and Tottenham away. So that's 3 really hard games. And that's 9 points there. So what do you think? Looking at them 3 games, how many points do you think we can pick up?
Yeah, that's a really tough thing to think about, right? Very difficult, I guess, thing to predict. I mean, yeah, Liverpool is the only one that's confirmed, right? So we're playing them next week. So they're still in the midst of Champions League. They're still in the chase for the title. So I think we should be very happy if we get a draw, right? I think that might be the best case scenario. Obviously, we want our boys to win every single match, but realistically, just watching the way they played, even today, they do have some weaknesses, man. Like, once again, they couldn't score with going against the squad with 10 men. So I think if we can figure out some kind of channel that kind of defensive intensity, I think we have a shot. Obviously, I want to keep 11 men on the pitch, but yeah, Liverpool, I think, we might be able to squeeze a point out of that. And I think I'd be very happy if that's the case. Chelsea, I think we can beat. Tottenham, I think we can beat. So I think getting 7 points is not out of the question. Worst case scenario, if we get maybe 4 and maybe drop, the Chelsea get match, or like against Tottenham, maybe we catch Tottenham on one of their hot days. Like, that's fine, right? Whatever. It's a Premier League, right? Anything can happen. So I think 4 points is like worst case scenario, at least in my mind. But I think we can get 7 out of 9 points. I can confidently say we can beat a team like Chelsea. I think our squad is looking at a team like Chelsea. Like, let's not worry about United and West Ham and Tottenham. Like, let's worry about chasing third. So I think we can definitely avenge, when we played Chelsea in the beginning of the year, that was we had Pablo Mari going against, covering Lukaku. Like, we're in a lot better shape and a lot better, like, just confidence levels. So I think we can pull 7. What do you think?
Yeah, as you said, worst case 4. I'm thinking if we say out of the 3, win one of them, draw one of them, lose one of them, I don't think that would be that bad a scenario for us to get 4 out of the 9. It will still keep us in a very good place in terms of the top 4. Ideally 7. Well, ideally 9. Optimistically 9. That would be amazing. Yeah. But yeah, I think ideally 7 will be good. I think, but it's hard to say because we don't know when we're going to play the ones against Chelsea and Tottenham yet. So you don't have a situation where in terms of injury, suspensions, what their situations is like as well. But, I think the toughest one will be Liverpool. I think them and City are, by quite a distance, the best 2 teams in the league at the moment. So even though it's here, playing Liverpool will be the hardest out of the 3 games. So, yeah, as you say, if you can get a draw at that one and then win the other 2, that would be great. That would definitely put us in a great position to get third even. We're not that far off Chelsea now as well. So, yeah, I'm going for that, 7 points. But as you said, worst case scenario, we can take 4. So a lot of fans are saying that, okay, cool, you guys have got 3 games in hand, but if they're 3 games, you can potentially lose. And then that's 9 points dropped. I mean, that makes it all tight again, and it'll only be like, if that was the case, it would be very close between us, West Ham, Man United and Tottenham, and even maybe Wolves once again. So it's going to be vital how them 3 games go, starting with a Liverpool game, and then we need to obviously know when they're going to reschedule these other games. And we still got Man United at home as well.
Yeah, I also want to in and say this Thursday there's a day, like there's 4 matches scheduled, and they're all makeup games. So I noticed they're all rounds games from past, that are being made up, and one of them is Wolves against Watford. So that Southampton, Newcastle, Norwich, and Chelsea, Leeds United, Aston Villa. Not really affecting our standings, but it'd be nice to see Watford continue to just, play to avoid relegation and steal maybe a point from Wolverhampton, or maybe get all 3 of them, beat Wolves, and that would just be even better, right? So yeah, as you say, there's just a whole lot to still be decided, but I think ultimately we continue to just win the games before we start catching up and playing the games in hand, and just have some points to, like, some space. Like, I think that helps us. Not to say that we can at least let the foot off the gas, but you know, if the longer that we're in the driver's seat, I think it's better. But I also think this is the kind of team that, they're playing. They I think they're starting to see the like the finish line ahead, right? They're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So it's exciting to watch them continue to just step up and play well. So I mean, who knows? We could probably even beat Liverpool. We were close to beating Man City at the beginning of the year, and everything kind of exploded at the 70th minute. So I mean, who knows? But I mean, it's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to the business end of the season and just kind of seeing what transpires.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see us playing well with confidence and being in there with a chance. Over the last couple of seasons, we've been down in 8th, and by the time you get into this part of the season, it's like not a lot to play for in the league, and it's like you're going through the motions. But this time, every match matters. Every 3 points is vital. Even like we're saying against Liverpool, getting a point could be a great result for us. As you said, there's no reason why we can't beat them. We are in good form. It's at our place. We know our record here is amazing. This season, apart from Man City and Liverpool, we have the best home record in the league. So before that, we got Leicester. Here, vital game. Leicester being a bit poor, you would say, this season, going through a bit of a difficult time, but we know they've got some good players. So again, like all games in the Premier League, it will be a difficult game, and we've got to be on our game 100%. Players we've been playing, and I'm confident we can get the 3 points. What's your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, they were missing what's his name, Jamie Vardy, for a while, and now he's back. And I think the most recent game they played, I don't think he started, but they subbed him in, and he scored like pretty quickly. So he's one of those guys that's just, you have to account for him, even though he's not like a world-class player by the tail of the tape or whatever. But he's always steps up and plays big, especially against like a team like Arsenal. I learned his name by hearing my boys at the tavern cuss him out whenever he scored. Like that guy's just kind of he's just one of those scrappy players, man. And then they do have I know Arsenal was interested in James Maddison, the midfielder who he's fun to watch. I'll admit that I learned about him playing FIFA during quarantine, and I added him to my Arsenal team in franchise mode. But he's a fun player to watch. I think that's Leicester City has that guy Tielemans, right, from the Netherlands. He also scored a goal that I remember, Project Restart, that they ended up beating us, or at least drawing against us. But yeah, they're not a team to be taken lightly. Just last year, I mean, they're one of those teams. I think one of the stats I learned when watching the game recently, like the past 2 seasons, they were up there in the top 4 conversation, and then just completely collapsed 2 years in a row. So, they're gonna play hard. But I think, again, that's going to be one of the toughest games that we'll have in this stretch since we came back. This is like the 5th game in that 5 game. We've won 4, we got 1 more, and then it's Liverpool. But this is one of those 5 that I remember thinking like we need to just get all the points we can, and I think this is going to be on par as with the Wolves game as far as difficulty is concerned. Um, but I think we could hopefully, I still feel pretty confident that we can pull out a pretty comfortable win, something like 2-1, 2-0 maybe. But I think they might score one just because I think when we played them in the beginning or the last time, I don't think Jamie Vardy played. Maybe he did. I might be completely off, but yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, as you said, they're definitely a team not to take lightly, and they got a threat in terms of scoring goals. Vardy, as you're saying, he's a good player and he's got a good record against us. He scored quite a few goals against us. So
He played the last game, by the way. Sorry, yeah, but yeah, he played.
We got to defend well, which I'm confident we can do. And going forwards now, it seems like we're starting to click. That confidence is coming there. We're creating chances. We're looking dangerous against Wolves. We're looking dangerous against Brentford as well. We only got narrow wins, but I'd say in all the games we're looking like we're able to score a lot of goals, which is good because after what happened in January, where we only scored 1 goal in the whole month, and it was a really disappointing month. To go 5 games. We've won 4 of them now, as you said, and this is the 5th one before that big one against Liverpool. So it'd be amazing if we can have won 5 games in a row, 15 points, and I'm confident we can do it. As you said, won't be easy. Will be a close game. I think they might get 1, so I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
Well, because we're leaving a lot of goals on the field, on the pitch, right? Like Nketiah hit the post this past match, right? They put him in. He's actually starting to look a little bit good too. Like he's starting to see, as I mentioned before, I think him and Laka, whether they stay with us or not, most likely not, but like they're certainly going to want to showcase themselves, right, for another squad somewhere. So Nketiah almost knocked one in for the 2nd match in a row. So we're scoring goals, but we're also like leaving goals on the pitch, and I think we should be scoring maybe 4 or 5 a match. So yeah, as you said, like we're looking a lot better than we did in January. So we've definitely put January behind us. And we're looking good now. 3-1. I like your prediction better than mine. I like your confidence. I'm still like nervous, and I think it's just like the teams I root for here in America have always just been like every time I get excited, like they let me down. So I always have this cautious optimism when I'm watching my teams. Like, let me just chill and not get too excited. But I don't know. That's just me.
In this time of the season now, any win would do. A scrappy 1-0, 2-1, whatever. You know what I mean? Just get the points. That's all that matters. Like, obviously, we'll take a nice, comfortable win, but whatever win, it comes with a last-minute penalty, whatever. Just get the 3 points, move on to the next one. And yeah, talking about the other teams then. So, big match this weekend between Man United and Tottenham. It's going to be really important in the top 4 race. What's your thoughts on that one?
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna be tuning into that one, man, because obviously, right, 2 big teams. They're part of the race for that top 4 with us. I guess I want to draw, right? It'd be nice to see like a 2-2 draw and see some goals and just see some drama. But yeah, I mean these 2 squads are fighting for their lives. I mean, Man United still is in Champions League, but they'll actually, I think, play tomorrow. I don't know, but I think they might know their fate if they're going to continue on or whatever. So hopefully, they're not their best. They actually, something I think I forgot to mention, recapping their game against City, but they didn't start Ronaldo or Cavani. Like they went with their youth, Elanga and Jadon Sancho. But there seems to be trouble in paradise over at United. So hopefully that kind of affects their performance a little bit again, so they can start dropping some points. I don't want to see them win, but obviously if they do win against Tottenham, that's a pretty sweet deal. And obviously, I think we win regardless of the result. I think if Tottenham wins, that means United stays behind, and if vice versa, that means Tottenham just probably falls off the map in this race. But a draw would probably be the best as far as like the more pragmatic results. So I'm gonna be tuning in for sure just because there's not really much else to do that day. But yeah, what do you think? I'm excited about that match. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be nice to see them, you know, have a high scoring draw, as you said. That'd be a good one of them drama matches, 2-2 or 3-3. Both drop points in the end. Perfect result for us.
Somebody giving up a goal like in the 95th minute again, like just totally blowing it and just watching somebody's manager on the sideline just looking pissed. Like pretty sweet.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'm gonna go for 2-2 as well.
Mhm.
Same as you. I think both teams they've got their vulnerabilities. We've seen recently. I think it'll be tight, and it's a lot of pressure on that game. Both teams know that they can't really afford to be dropping points. So yeah, draw is perfect, and yeah, I'm going to go with 2-2. Then West Ham, they're playing Aston Villa at home. Thoughts on that one?
That'll be a fun scrap match to watch. Yeah, Aston Villa plays everybody tough. West Ham, same thing. Like again, I think they're just two clubs that as I've watched, the Premier League more and more. Like those are two clubs you just can't take lightly, regardless of where they are on the table. Um, so yeah, so I think that's going to be. I don't know. It could go either way. Flip a coin and just see who ends up winning. But I'll be rooting for Aston Villa on this one. I think at this point I'm going to start just getting greedy and wanting everybody to lose. Uh, you know, because that would just help, right? We do have one more game against West Ham to play, so it'd be nice to by the time we play them, they're kind of maybe all the way out, and then we take advantage of that. But that'll be a fun game. I like watching Emi Martinez. I mean, that guy's always he's like a I like the way he shit houses when he plays. Like he's just he talks a lot of shit, and I like it. So it'll be fun. And I have Mikel Antonio on my fantasy league, so I always root for him to score goals. So we'll see what happens. I'll pick like a I'll pick like a 2-1 win for Aston Villa. Although I don't know who they I don't even know too much about Villa, like as far as who's scoring goals for them, if they're even dangerous. What do you think on that one?
Yeah, well, they've recruited well. They've got Coutinho in. There's some good results.
There he is.
So they're going to be dangerous. West Ham have been really strong at home this season. We saw they got that win against Wolves, and they've beaten the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea at home. So very strong team at home. But I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm going to go for 1-1 in that one, which again suits us perfectly. 2 more drop points for West Ham. So yeah, that's my prediction for that one. And then
Oh, yeah.
have a little look at Wolverhampton. So Wolverhampton, as you're saying, they're playing Watford. They are quite far behind, but as we said, our games in hand doesn't guarantee points. So if we didn't win all our games in hand, it could be a lot closer still, and they could still be in it. So their next game, as you said, is Watford. You would think they'll win that one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Then
probably.
after that, yeah, they got Everton away on the weekend. Again, you'd probably think they'll win that one as well because the form Everton did play well at home against Man City though, but then yesterday it looked awful, and they're
Yeah.
right in the relegation battle now. They're looking in danger of possibly getting relegated, which would be quite a big shock for a team that they've got some really good players. When you look through their team, some of their players they got world class. So yeah, your thoughts on the result between Everton and Wolves?
Yeah, man. I mean, I was hoping they would have a better showing against Spurs yesterday, but obviously not. I mean, they just got battered, man. And I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to kind of see. Who do they have? They have Richarlison. They got Dele Alli that they added from
Calvin
Tottenham.
Lewin, Gomez,
Yeah, so
World
that
class
like
keeper in Pickford, and they got some really good players. They shouldn't be down in the position they're in. It's really surprising.
yeah. So man, yeah, they're probably going to be one of those teams that maybe hopefully they show up and play hard. They played good against Man City. They probably should have won that match if it wasn't for VAR screwing them over. I still think VAR screwed them over, but man, I don't know. Also, Wolves are like a really just they're a steady team, right? Like I mean, they play well regardless of whether home or away. So I don't know. I think Wolves are going to end up winning that one as well. So that's why, like, yeah, we got to continue. Like, the pressure's going to be out. I don't think Wolves are completely out of it. So I think they're going to win the next two matches and then just kind of, see what happens there. But yeah, I'll probably see them winning against Everton, unless Everton just, I mean, their backs are against the wall. So with teams like that, sometimes they just, put on world class performance that they're supposed to be doing. So maybe they end up winning.
So yeah, just to finish with, let's look at the title race. So the question was asked of Man City. Liverpool had beat West Ham to close within 3 points of them, and then Man City playing the derby. They could have felt the pressure, but they put in that really good performance, got the points comfortably, and they got that 6 point lead again. Though Liverpool do have a game in hand, that game in hand is against us, so we're hoping that we can win that, and that would obviously further help Man City in their quest for winning the Premier League. But this weekend, both teams are playing, you could say, slightly tricky games. So Liverpool are away to Brighton. Your prediction for that one?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close match. Brighton are another one of those like well-disciplined teams, right? They play hard, especially at home. I know from my as I'm learning the geography of the United Kingdom that Brighton is like a port city, so like the weather is just always shit, especially maybe around this time of year. So weather, I've always believed that, especially in outdoor sports like American football, that weather is like the great equalizer, right? Whether it's cold or rain or something like that. So depending on the weather, I think that might end up being a factor in the match about like how close it might be. So yeah, a tricky game that I think Brighton can maybe steal a point and end up drawing. But I think Liverpool ends up winning this comfortably, maybe like 2-0, 2-1. What do you think?
Yeah, Brighton, on their day, are a good team. They actually played really well at Anfield. I remember they got a draw against Liverpool there, and we've seen when we played them that they're a difficult team. They play well organized. So tricky game, but I think Liverpool will scrape through, maybe 2-1 again for that one. And then yeah, Man City on the Monday night they're playing Crystal Palace away. Again, we know Crystal Palace can be a dangerous team. They got a good 2-2 draw against us here. There's some good results, and yeah, it will be a tricky game for City. What's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think Crystal Palace. I mean, Crystal Palace has some good players. They're playing really well. They're playing teams hard, kind of the same thing like Brighton, but I don't think they're getting. I'm trying to like find their last 5 matches just to kind of see where their form has been. So yeah, they won 2-0 against Wolves, 2-1 against Stoke in the FA Cup, 4-1. They lost 1-0 to Chelsea. Oh, okay, yeah, so they're playing teams pretty tight. 0-0 against Brentford, Norwich 1-1. So yeah, I don't know. I think they're a team that's going to show up to play. It's at home. I've watched some games at Crystal Palace, and they have a crazy home crowd. So I don't know. I think that's another one. I think that will end up being a close match, maybe a 1-0 win in favor of Man City, because I think those two teams are just. I think they have laser focus on the end of the season and trying to win the title, and also they're both playing well in Champions League. So yeah, I don't think they're going to end up giving up or dropping points this weekend, but it'll be fun and exciting, I think, than versus like the United game or whatever. So I think they'll have to work a little bit harder against a team like Crystal Palace because they're Patrick Vieira is a coach, and I think he's gotten them playing very well. So I think that's going to show, but I think the quality of City's going to kind of prevail at the end. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I think City, they got the Champions League tomorrow, but they're already 5-0 up. So I don't think that's going to take too much out of them tomorrow. And then they're not playing until Monday as well. So they got a long rest before that one. And as you said, them and Liverpool focus. We saw a couple of years ago when they were close. 3 years ago, I think it was, they were really close. And then City had a small lead, 1 point or something, and it went right until the end. And they both just kept winning all their games,
Yeah.
neither one of them blinked, and I can see something similar happening this season where, you know, they just both keep winning. I hope we can stop Liverpool from winning next week.
Right.
So that would be great. But, you know, both, as you said, both teams, you know, they seem quite far ahead of the rest of us all at the moment. And I think Crystal Palace will have their hands full. I think City will win that one quite comfortably, maybe 2 or 3-0. But yeah, it's just exciting times, you know. The title race is still on. The top 4 race is on. It's tight in both battles for that. Relegation as well is tight down there. And really looking forward to, you know, seeing how the rest of the season goes. And most importantly, looking forward to seeing us get in the top 4. I feel very confident now. I feel very, really confident. I think it's in our hands fully now. We haven't got to worry too much about what other teams do. Obviously, them dropping points helps us, but if we can, you know, stay focused, get from them 3 games at hand, hopefully get the 7 points, win the other games that we should be winning. There'll be the odd game that we're meant to win that we might not, you know, but that will happen to other teams as well. So I think we've built up a situation where we've got a good cushion there with the games in hand that we have, and being in 4th now. They're all chasing us, the pressure's on them, and we're in the driving seat. So let's now drive it all the way as fast as we can. Hopefully we don't have to take it down to the last game or 2 of the season. You know, we can seal the top 4 place, get 3rd even. You know, still got a big shot for getting 3rd. And, you know, do it with maybe 3-4 games to go mathematically that we can't be caught. That would be amazing.
That would be sweet. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So come on, you gunners.
Yeah, man. Like, I have to say, I guess maybe one more closing thought. Like, I like this. Like, our guys are, and I was talking about this in our MLS tailgate with some of the boys, and you know, I think our guys are overachieving a little bit. Like, you know, I think a lot of us were thinking at the beginning of the season, man, top 6, let's get back into Europe, and top 4 would be amazing. And now we've now adjusted our expectations to be like, let's get 3rd, you know? So I feel like our boys are just they're too young to even know, like they're looking at the pressure and they're playing excited. Like, they're ready to just, you know, take the bull by the horns, if you will. Like, they're playing that way. And hopefully they can continue. They're having fun. You know, hopefully they can continue that run. And there's going to be a tough, you know, even the 4 games we've won, they've been tough. We beat, you know, we held on to win 1-0 against Wolves with 10 men. The Brentford, I feel like we missed a lot of chances, and it, you know, ended up being close. That was like the most comfortable win. 2-1, we had to come back from an early goal and win in the 95th minute. And then this past one, you know, shaky game. You know, we gave up a couple of bad, you know, good goals, but we still played comfortable enough or strong enough to be comfortable at the end, right? A little bit scary at the end, but still. So it's not like we're playing, you know, bad, or we're getting lucky. I think we're playing tough games and we're winning them. So I think it's going to come through when we start having the Liverpool and the Chelsea and the Tottenham matches. So yeah, we're in the driver's seat, and hopefully, you know, our boys see that as something to be excited about instead of just feeling the pressure, so that we can get to the point where 4 or 5 games left in the season, have it sealed up, and we can just play and continue to have fun. So we'll see what happens, man. Come on, you Gunners. I'm excited. I'm excited for Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to the weekend and look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.
Yep. Later, bro.
That's all from us, everyone. Thanks for watching, and please remember to subscribe, like, and share.